Your videos need to be more like Stranger Things. No, not like a horror-inspired 80s nostalgia fest show. I mean, your videos need to be more engaging the way that a show like Stranger Things is. Your videos need to suck your audience in and hold their attention. Hey, this is Evan Staley with Staley Media, helping you make marketing videos that actually work. Obviously, I'm a huge Stranger Things fanboy, I'll admit it, hence this video. But also, hey, it's October, it's almost Halloween, so why not? There's a reason shows like Stranger Things are super popular. They make effective use of a storytelling technique where they give you little bits of information about the story throughout the whole season, and then at the very end, do the big reveal where everything finally makes sense. Remember Lost? Like back in the day, I was a big fan of Lost when it first came out. I think I watched just about every episode, was a huge fan, until they ruined it with the the last episode of the ending. Anyway, that show pretty much popularized the style of storytelling where you're just given little bits and pieces of information. I remember watching that show, getting really sucked in, trying to figure out what the heck is going on, and you probably felt the same way if you've watched that show. Not knowing, that sense of the unknown creates this sort of tension within you. Now you have to know, you want to know what's going on, because if you don't figure that out, that tension's going to be unresolved, which makes the ending all the more important, because it's like a big payoff once the whole thing is fully revealed and you get to see the big picture of what was really going on behind the scenes the whole time. What if you could create your content in such a way that it sucked your viewers in, they wanted to know more, and they kept watching, maybe even all the way to the end of each video? It is possible, you just gotta know the right tricks to do to set your video up for success in this way. So here's a few tips to transform your videos into, well, Stranger Things. Number one, give your audience a reason to watch and then draw them in. This is a crucial step I think a lot of us as creators or business owners, when we're making video content, we just skip over. You really need to have a reason for people to watch from the beginning and also to keep watching. Just because you put out content on the feed and people scroll past it and they see it, doesn't mean that they're just gonna stop everything that they're doing and watch the whole thing and give you their full undivided attention. Maybe that was true like a decade ago, but in today's day and age, you really gotta fight to earn that attention. So what reason could you give your audience to start watching and keep watching? Part of this boils down to a specific value takeaway that you want to put in your video. The video is the medium for giving away this value nugget, if you want to call it that. The reason your audience will watch is because the curiosity is piqued because of the promise of that nugget. What makes them keep watching and keep engaging is the fact that they know they're going to get that value nugget if they keep watching. And that value nugget is so good, it's going to make some sort of positive change in their life or their business. This is what separates great video content from, well, vanilla video content. Number two, create tension by not giving everything away up front. The reason stories like Stranger Things and Lost, when back in its heyday, are so popular is because they didn't give everything away up front. They only told you little bits and pieces along the way. It kept you in the dark about the rest. Now, translating this to video content, you do want to be a little bit careful because you do want to get to your content. You don't want to just keep pushing off the main value point you're trying to give. Otherwise, your audience may get bored and start scrolling again. But you at least want to give them a reason to keep watching, to keep drawing them in by not giving the whole story away up front. And this is where a good hook comes into play. When I say hook, I mean that first maybe 1 to 2 sentences, the little intro beginning piece of your video. Same thing applies to text posts, especially on LinkedIn. You want to get that hook, that first sentence or two to really grab interest and make people click that see more. You're giving just enough away to pique interest to make somebody want to click unmute or to click see more and to get them to engage more with the content. You do want to get right to the content and not delay too long, but also don't give away too much. Give them a reason to keep watching. Number three, make them aware that they have a problem. Now, if you're a business, you obviously have a product or a service that exists to solve a specific problem within the market. And your ideal clients are probably aware that they have said problem that you're trying to solve with your products or services. But maybe not. Maybe their problem isn't as bad as they think it is. Maybe they think, it's okay, I'll manage. So one way you can use your video content to really engage people and suck them in is to communicate in such a way that you're making your audience aware of that problem to the point that it creates this sort of tension within themselves. So let's say you're a business coach and you're trying to come alongside solopreneurs as a guide of sorts to help them scale their business. Perhaps the problem you're trying to solve is the sort of maverick DIY kind of attitude that's common among a lot of solopreneurs, and you're trying to help them see that that's a limiting belief, that they can't get as far as they want to in their business if they just rely on themselves and not seek out help or advice from others. Maybe your ideal audience, solopreneurs who think that way, don't see that as a problem yet. They're like, I can manage, I can do this all by myself. I just work hard and I can do it. That's true to a point, but you get what I'm saying. So communicate that in your video content. Make them see that this is actually a problem, and if this stays that way and you don't do anything about it, here's what's going to happen. Use your video content to create that sort of tension within your viewers until they really see for themselves, oh, I really do have a problem. I need to do something about this. Which leads us into my next point. Resolve that tension by presenting a clear solution to the problem. A story wouldn't be a good story unless it resolved all the conflict within the plot, right? Like if Frodo and the gang never actually destroyed the ring and they just spent the rest of their days just running around trying to avoid orcs and such, never actually doing anything about the ring, what kind of story would that be? It'd be boring, right? We all long to have that tension and see that tension resolved, especially when it comes to storytelling. If you're trying to draw your audience into your story and into your content, and you're creating that sort of tension for them to feel, don't forget to actually resolve that tension too. The way that you do that is by introducing your ta-da solution to their problem. Your solution, your product or service, is the resolution that they need to get rid of that conflict and to bring calm and peace back to their world. So make them aware of the problem, increase that tension, but don't just leave them there. That'd be kind of almost sadistic in a way. Now, I will say this is not manipulation, so don't see this as a way of making your ideal client do what you want them to do. You're just trying to shine light on an existing problem that they may or may not know that they have, which would naturally create tension, but you're also showing them how your service or product helps resolve that tension as well. This isn't manipulation, okay? You just want to be an honest look at the problem that they're facing and what would happen if they didn't resolve that problem. And lastly, reveal everything. Show them what their life could be like. Your ideal client's transformation is the end of their story. That's the end of their working relationship with you. That's what they're after. And that's what you're working towards. They might instinctively know that, but they may not understand what that looks like. So your goal here with your video content is to paint them a picture of what life could be like if they work with you or they put your tips into practice. How would their business be different? How would things be more efficient? How much money could they be making? How simpler could things be? How easier would their life be as a whole if they worked with you or they took your advice seriously? So go ahead, pull back the curtain, show everything that you haven't shown them before, give them the ending, let them see how this transformation is really what they need and what is the completion and the end of their story. They're not ultimately after your product or service. Those things are a means to an end, and the end is their transformation of their personal life and or their business. Do you want your brand to get attention from your ideal audience? Do you want eyeballs on your videos? Do you want comments left? Do you want people coming back for more? Give them a reason to watch and then suck them into your story. This is what separates great videos that actually work from video content that, well, flops. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those below in the comments. This is Evan, and I'll see you next time.